Thanks for coming back to Stepping Out of Confusion. I want to talk to you today about a little bit on forgiveness, a little forgiveness from you all. If you've been watching, the last video was at the beach and didn't have my microphone, and I know it was kind of hard to hear me. Thankfully, my editor puts the little words on there too, but just, learning and growing inside of making these videos. So, and, just in case you might have been wondering, I like making these videos from the place of hopefully to give my grandchildren, as well as, anybody who's listening out there that can get something to help them through their day, as I've said before. So just wanted to clear a few of those things up. So on forgiveness today, I'm going to go back to the old moleskin and give you something that the Lord put on my heart a little while ago. The line of forgiveness can be traced to an origin. Any and all forgiveness releases all darkness into the light, and as a bird from a cage, we are free. What was bound up from the evil one is now cut and spread out to the fields and the airways as fertilizer, to a new life that emerges from the essence once contained. When I look at some of the things that I have to forgive in my life, like people, and, at first I had to start with myself. And it reminded me of a quote that first time I saw it was in, that old black and white one with Jimmy Stewart. And there's a little sign on the wall that says, "We get to keep what we give away." And, I kept thinking about that, praying on that, and I was thinking, that's a really good thing. We get to kind of like keep in our hearts what we give away to other people. Like we give our time, we give our energy, we give our money, we get to keep that from a place of not pride or righteousness, but just like, or self-righteousness, but just a place of like good, But on the flip side of that, what you don't give away will take you with it. Think about that. The things you don't give away, the things that you want to keep inside just for yourself, the things that you want to hold on to, like possessions, like what we're talking about right now, like the forgiveness, your pride. If you hold on to that, like that's the stuff that's going to take you with it. Think about the one person that I talk about all the time. It's Jesus. Look what he forgave the world of their sins so that they could be seen as themselves and they could be loved as themselves. Jesus wasn't like our advocate so everybody could go stand in front of God and be like that's not the way it works. The way it works is that you forgive because you have been forgiven. Like that is the power that we all possess, to forgive somebody. So it says it all a bunch of times in the Bible. You can't come before God until you have forgiven those who have trespassed against you, who belittled you or wronged you. And, I can speak from the last couple of weeks of working on myself, really seeing how I didn't forgive. I didn't forgive myself. I kept looking back to what I did. That's worn me out. And then the pride of forgiving people for what they did to me, it wears you out. And all you got to do is let go of it. And I know it's so easy to say, so simple, but yet so hard to do. As many times as it comes up, when you see that person or something reminds you of that memory, that you just flip it on its head and give it love and forgive. And for those of you that don't have the the practice of thinking that you got to forgive God because he wronged you. What worked for me is that, well, first off, I just didn't even blame him. I didn't blame God for the loss of my daughter. I didn't blame God for having me go to jail or keeping me out of jail. I thank God that he now has my daughter. And I thank God that it wasn't worse than it could have been, meaning going to jail, because it could have been worse. And the struggle that I've been going through since that time, I finally found forgiveness of myself and the influences that directed me, because nobody made me, but I allowed it to direct me into choices that led to a big old dead end. For you in your situation that you got to forgive God, start there. But if you really look a little deeper, he's not the one you need to forgive. It's either yourself for making the choice that you made that put you in that situation. And for those of you that were born into a family that you didn't have a choice about, you need to forgive them. Because you don't, unless you know the rest of their story, they're a human too. And if you need to go back 3 generations to their story, that might be where you find the place that the true forgiveness can start. Because you have the ability to break a lineage line that has been of unforgiveness for generations. And you are just a byproduct. But if you're listening to this and you hear it from the place that you have the choice to forgive and break the chain that has been binding your family, your life, and your future. And if you have children, if you don't break that now, they're going to be enladen with that chain of burden, of hate, of shame, of whatever. There's so many things happening right now that allow people to want to be mad and not forgive. The byproduct of forgiveness is love. And in the wake of that release, there's a growing. You grow, and love is the fuel. And this ship can be turned around. And it starts inside of you. It starts from the place that you get to make the choice to forgive. You get to make that choice. The internal imprint of the original plan of growing to serve each other will emerge as a victory. And Jesus did show us how to do this through his ultimate sacrifice of himself. So I talk about eternity. I talk about what is going to happen at the end of your life. And I'm going to talk about more about it. But there's a setup. What if you set up in here so that your spirit is free? I don't know if any of y'all have ever been to prison, but when you get out of jail, that's freedom. But when you get out of the prison of yourself, through forgiveness, through love, man, I'm telling you, it's freedom that you can't even imagine. So look at forgiveness with a different set of lenses. Open your ears. God is always speaking to you. You just got to pull them calluses off, little by little. And forgiveness is a big step because it's keeping you deaf from the places that want to give you so much. So thanks for joining me. Hope this helps. And we appreciate you coming to the channel. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you need. That always gives me something to provide, because I'm here to serve you. I'm here to serve you. All right, we love y'all.